Hi guys, please pay attention for this short story. After that, please take the moral value from this short story. Let's get started. The farmer and the well. One day, a farmer was looking for a water source for his farm when he bought a well from his neighbor. The neighbor, however, was cunning. The next day, as the farmer came to draw water from his well, the neighbor refused to let him take any water. When the farmer asked why, the neighbor replied, "I sold you the well, not the water," and walked away. Distraught, the farmer went to the emperor to ask for justice. He explained what had happened. The emperor called on a Birbal, one of his 9 and wisest courtiers. Birbal proceeded to question the neighbor. "Why don't you let the farmer take water from the well? You did sell the well to the farmer?" Neighbor replied, "Birbal, I did sell the well to the farmer, but not the water within it. He has no right to draw water from the well." Birbal said, "Look, since you sold the well, you have no right to keep the water in the farmer's well. Either you pay rent to the farmer or take it out immediately." Realizing that his scheme had failed, the neighbor apologized and went home. So, what is the moral value in this short story? Yeah, cheating will not get you anything. If you cheat, you'll pay soon enough. So please try to tell everyone, your friends, everyone around you about this short story and what is the moral value. Good job, guys. Hey guys, let's read together this short story and what will we get from this story? Let's get started. The real wealth. One day, a rich man decided to take his son on a trip to the country. The wealthy man wanted to show his son how the poor people live, so he could be thankful for his wealth. They spent 2 days on a farm of a very poor family. On their way home, the rich man asked his son, "How was our trip with this poor family and what did you learn?" The son answered, "I saw that we have servants to serve us, but they serve others. We have 1 dog and they have 4. We have imported lanterns in our gardens and they have stars at night. We buy our food, but they grow theirs. We have a big pool in our garden, but they a creek that has no end. We have large walls to protect us, and they have friends to protect them." Finally, the son added, "Thanks, Dad, for showing me how poor we are." Jadi, kira-kira dari cerita ini, apa ya yang kita bisa dapatkan? Komen ya. Let's read together these character stories. Let's get started. Trust. Story by Andrew Frinkle. Trust is showing confidence, faith, and hope in someone or something. There are many ways to show trust. Helen trusted her friends. She didn't keep secrets from them. She shared her things with her friends. She knew they would do the right thing and not betray her trust. She tried hard to be the kind of friend that they could trust too. Trust works both ways, and Helen was trustworthy. Nick let his friends borrow his stuff all the time. He didn't even remember who had what. Whatever he needed something back, he just asked all of his friends who had this game or his book. They always gave it back because they liked how nicely he shared. He could always borrow his friends' games and books too. Nick trusted his friends. How do you show trust to your friends? So tell me, comment ya. Good job. Hey guys, let's read together this text. I think this text is good for us to learn British action in pronounce t. For example, in water or water. So let's get started. I'm trying. The little house in a great big wood in a great big tree. That's the nicest little house that could possibly be. That's a tiny little knocker on the tiny little door, and a tiny little carpet on the tiny little floor. That's a tiny little table, and a tiny little bed, and a tiny little pillow for a tiny weeny head. A tiny little blanket, and a tiny little sheet, and a tiny water bottle hot for tiny little feet. A tiny little cider down, a tiny little chair, and a tiny little kettle for the owner when he's there. In a tiny little larder, there's a tiny thermos bottle for the tiny little greedy man. Who knows the woods of Portal? There's a tiny little peg for a tiny little hat, and a tiny little dog, and a tiny cat. If you got a little house and you keep it spick and span, perhaps there'll come to live in it a tiny little man. You may not ever see him, he's extremely shy, but if you find a crumpled sheet, or spins upon the window seat, or see the marks of tiny feet, you'll know the reason why. Oh my god, good job guys, try it.